loan apps opened up, as you know, on Saturday. I think there might have been a couple on Friday. How long do you, and Chuck, I'm not sure how much we've spoken about it, but you've spent a lot of your career working with banks and with the SBA, kind of a liaison. So you're dialed to this process. How long
Sure.
are the applications taking, and what do you see as some of the roadblocks that are going to happen in this situation versus what you've seen previously in your career?
Well, as I mentioned, the larger banks that have automated systems are implementing that as we speak. We are for our clients. But 75% of the SBA lenders and all of the newly assigned community banks and credit unions that weren't SBA lenders now can offer this product. So the barrier to entry is, how are we going to do that? Chuck, I did 6 SBA loans last year. They took me 60, 90 days to get them approved. That's different now, so that they have all the questions on, how am I going to use the E-Tran system, which is the delivery that the SBA is allowing the SBA lenders to use? What are my risks? So there's a lot of uncertainty, and a lot of lenders now are just saying, we're going to sit and wait, or we're going to take care of our clients only. This week, today, tomorrow, we'll have our online system up, but we're also manually inputting loans for clients in the E-Tran system. It's taking us 10, 15 minutes to get the application in and approved. So it's fairly quickly that this delivery is going to happen. It's just so many questions that 3/4 of the lenders have out there that's going to be problematic. So I anticipate the automated systems are going to take a couple days to a week to see the closing and disbursement. It may take other lenders much, much longer. But remember, characteristically, these programs take a long time, and that's what our lenders and the borrowers are kind of accustomed to. It's not a good thing, but that's been the kind of the history of the SBA. So the idea here is to get the money out quickly, and it's going to vary from lender to lender.
Yeah, and this is so much different than 2009, because the problem in 2009 was the banks and the risks that they put on their balance sheet. Here, and so that was concentrated on, I don't know, a dozen big players. Here you've got something else, a disease in this, that has shut down Main Street. It was all Wall Street versus Main Street. So the problem is dispersed exponentially versus what Congress and had to do to fix the problem in 2009. It's just the volume, and the units are millions of units of small businesses. So it's a much more complex problem in my view. Any thoughts, Scott? You lived 2009. Any thoughts on that?
No, absolutely. I think that's exactly the scenario that people are seeing is, we're fighting for survival. And that's back to I think what we may talk about in the future is, now's the time. You've got to jump in, you've got to get the process going. And I think Chuck raised some good points of, normally this takes a long time process, but this is an emergency. Just like the frustration that's out there and not having clarity, it's the reason because it is an emergency. Normally they would spend months developing these rules and hearing out concerns and then issuing one final document. That's just not how this operates. It's just like 2008 in that we're going to make them up as best we can, and everyone's just going to have to use sound judgment. We're, as far as the administration's concerned and the agencies, is they're focused on fraud, blatant fraud. They're not as concerned about genuine errors or mistakes, honest mistakes. That's not what they're going to target in any of this. They're focused on bigger issues at this point. So
sure, they're thinking about somebody taking this loan and buying a boat.
Yes.
buying yeah. And so, Scott, we talked a little bit about that as far as timing and so forth. What do you think we should be advising our clients as far as when to submit the application? And because of it would be nice, they've thought about playing the float, saying, I'm not gonna, I'm gonna wait another month and then apply, and then I'm gonna be that much closer to when the world's gonna get back online versus the funds running out. And as a follow-up to that, is there a round two after this 349 billion run out?
Yeah, this is Scott, and that's great. I think if we all just heard what Chuck just said, from a lender's perspective, they have their own line. There's people getting in his queue, not even the SBA's queue. So we've been telling folks, get going. If you have all the documentation, don't wait. Be the first in line. It's like Disneyland. Get your ticket, go in. As long as you're working with a good SBA lender, and if there's a history, absolutely move forward. Remember, the risk is on the lenders, and so they're going to make all these determinations at their level, and the SBA is going to take what the lender send to them, and is generally going to be accepted. I would also flag that, especially since we're all focused on small businesses, there's a new element in this, in that the law allows for independent contractors and gig workers and individuals to now get these loans. That's something that's kind of unique, and they're going to be able to start that on April 10th, is our estimate. So you're going to start, there's sort of a head start here that is given to traditional small businesses, but then all of a sudden you're going to see an increased demand from these individuals that are going to be obviously a little bit more complicated getting their information and data in. But that's sort of the purpose of, hey, now is the time that if you've had existing relationships with a lender, now is the time. I would not wait. You could wait for a little bit more guidance, but don't expect to say we're going to have all the answers in 2 weeks, and then we can feel more comfortable processing that. My estimate, as I led off at the top, right now at this pace, it's about 2 months. There's 350 billion for this program, and 5.4 billion was spent just yesterday. And it's just going to grow. To your point there on a second part, the president tweeted out this morning, literally before this conference started, he said, if we need more money, we're going to go back to Congress and ask for that. And this is a bipartisan issue. So, there's a lot of fight on the bigger institutions and who to help out and those companies. But when it comes to this is truly bipartisan, and I would see the Hill trying to get engaged pretty quickly. But you never want to, as we all can tell, sometimes things go awry. So you just got to act as though with the money that's here and available now is what we have to use for. There's no guarantees in the future. So that definitely, I would advise folks that if they could get going today, tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, absolutely.
Yeah, that's what we're advising our clients, and as accountants, Scott, we just can't help ourselves. We started doing the math, and we said, okay, how many small businesses there are, average loan per small business in the U.S., and we're looking at it as 349 billion. Yeah, it's going to be gone by Monday. So we're just like, this is, I don't know how long it's going to last, but we believe there's going to be a need for more, and I think I remember the initial ask was 750 billion, but yeah, that's there's going to be a need for more. Chuck, this next one's for you. We've been seeing from the banks the additional information required besides what's in the form right now, and there's some inconsistency between lenders as what they're asking. Can you comment on that?
Sure. Well, remember, characteristically, lenders are accustomed when lending money to ask for 3 years of financial statements, personal financial statement, tax returns, all of those things. This isn't the case. And so what the lenders need to know is the information on the lender's application, the information on the borrower's application. Those are 2483 and Form 2484, plus the NACE code, the date of the entity formation, and disclosing up to 90% of the ownership. Those three things, along with, say, the tax return for last year, which you can get that from, we can manually enter that into the E-Tran system. Now, the online systems are going to have that built in, but for those 75% of the lenders that are doing this for the first time, we're getting like a balance sheet and income statement to draw information off, those 3 extra forms, and we're getting these things done in 10, 15 minutes.
Wow, that's encouraging. Because
Not
that's what I was.
funded, but approved. Yep.
Yeah, and I would think that the process is going to improve like anything else does as the days go on.
And the comfort level.
Yeah,